get straight into it. Waziri, the engineers on the government side, or in the KPLC side, we're talking about the process of connection. But from a policy perspective, let's get a bit practical here. How long should it take for the time a client applies for power and the time they get connected?
Thank you, Trevor, for that, and thank you for hosting us today to basically get the Kenyans to understand the power sector and the energy sector, which is, like you said, a major driver of our economy. We're trying to work on manufacturing to GDP from 7 to possibly 15% to basically really change the economic drivers for this country, as it were. From a connection perspective, depending on where you are, if the infrastructure has been built, the connection after you've done the due process of application and payment should almost be immediate. If there's a transformer and the distance to customer premise is within the same apartment. But if we have to build the infrastructure, it will require a survey. It will then require planning for materials, design, and then deployment of. So it will range from those who are in very cosmopolitan areas where the infrastructure is fully developed to those who, like we saw in the earlier clips, we are moving the transmission network from Lokicha to Lodwa. Of course, we have got off-grid in Lodwa. It will take much, much longer. But as it were, I think Kenya Kwanza manifesto does acknowledge the fact that we need to really commercialize Kenya Power and leave Kenya Power to operate commercially. Because you do know also that Kenya Power is a listed company. You and me could be having shares that are employed to work for us through these good assets. And if we then use it as a social infrastructure, it defeats the purpose of listing companies in Kenya for purposes of trading in the stock market. Yeah. So to a very good extent, like Mwaura did say, we've got the government infrastructure development through the last mile, and we've got the commercial support, the commercial service which supports industry. And therefore, we're very keen to be able to work with Kenya Power and ensure that industry very quickly does receive service in the shortest possible time from that commercial perspective of Kenya Power, ensuring that they employ your investment as an investor through the stock market.
So there's really no time frame, Waziri? Isn't that where the problem is?
We are in a development phase. Today, we have an infrastructure access of about 70%, moving from at 20% in 2013 to an access of about 75% today. So in a developing country perspective, like I said, there'll be a range depending on where you've applied for service. If you are in a Cosmo, you can get almost same-day service. If you are in a very remote area, we need to build the infrastructure. And therefore, that will take time. Okay. But certainly, it can range from one day to really